All right, what's poppin', guys? This is the Punch Pass podcast. You're here with Mr. Vidra, that's me, and we got Mr. Harris over here. So we got Vidra and Harris. A little background on me: I am a martial arts instructor, and I love it. Every day, wanna be doing my training, working out. Want to be training in different styles, learning different styles. So we decided to start this podcast up just to really get in the know-how for the martial arts events and everything. So I'm pretty excited. This is our first day. What about you, Harris?
So I've been training in martial arts for quite a long time, just like Mr. Vidra over here. I also am a instructor at Precision Martial Arts with Mr. Vidra, and we've both been training. We both have our black belts in several different styles, and excited to start this podcast.
All right, awesome. Well, first thing I want to go over is the word of the week. Check out this word, Goldilocks. All right, so I'm going to explain what Goldilocks is. It's used to describe a situation in which a particular set of qualities or conditions are or have to be exactly right. Okay, so we're talking about a situation where pretty much the stars align, right? Okay, so we could put this in all sorts of different meanings in jiu-jitsu. When you're going against your opponent and you just see, you see them bring that step forward, and you can go in for that takedown. You just see that opening, and then you know exactly what you're going to be doing next. You take them down to the ground. You're going to go straight into a side control, or you're going to get your scarf choke. From there, you're going into arm bars, and you just have everything aligned. That is that Goldilocks moment.
So, as far as that Goldilocks word of the day goes, I really enjoy kind of that idea, especially just being aware of the idea there so you can actually be looking out for it. And, because a lot of the times the stars align in those fights and we just don't have the idea or what we're doing. We don't see it coming up.
Right.
And we miss that opportunity a lot.
So, do you think that you can actually make that happen? Can you set up a Goldilocks, or is it just something that it just randomly happens, and when it happens, you got to go for it?
I think you can absolutely set up those situations in a fight. Muay Thai, MMA, UFC, whatever you're kind of going into in that fight, you can absolutely set it up. It just is has to do with outthinking your opponent and really just trying to create those moments from them, So absolutely, you can definitely create those moments.
Okay, but here's what I think. Because when I think of the Goldilocks moment, I don't think of just one or two moves. I'm talking like maybe the Goldilocks moment might be like a finishing type deal. So from start to finish, like this is your opportunity to get the kill. You know what I mean? And I understand throughout a fight you can kind of set up miniature Goldilocks, but can you set up a big enough one where it's like the master of all Goldilocks? You know what I mean? It's like that's what's gonna finish that fight. Like you're standing and you can just see it. You've been watching your opponent the whole time. They keep every time they shoot in, they take that right foot step back, or something like that. So you're waiting for it this time. So the left leg's going to be open, or they're going to be caught off balance just a little bit, and you go in for it, and you have your full game plan, and you just set it up, and it goes perfectly.
I don't think there's one big Goldilocks moment that will define an entire fight, especially at the beginning. I feel when I think of it, I think of there's a bunch of small different openings. They take that shoot in. And they keep going for it. You keep pulling back. You're observing, watching, learning the way that they're fighting, and then you can have that Goldilocks where it clicks in, and they just may do that again, and you're able to counter it in the proper way. But I think once you get to the ground now, you're fighting from a new thing, and you can have your strategy set up to get yourself into a mount where you're working the Kimura, or whatever. But at that point, you've now got to start working from that new positioning.
Okay, all right. Well. Next thing I have on for us is going to be some different styles of martial arts. For me, I do mixed martial arts. You do as well. So we have a little bit of, people ask me, what style do you do? And I say, mixed martial arts. But what does that actually entail? What is all a part of that mixed martial arts and what we train? And if there's not just a set thing for mixed martial arts, is it down to the individual person on what they like to train, what they like to get better at, and that's their kind of mixed style?
So I definitely agree. As far as my style, I've trained in Muay Thai, a little bit of American kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then just a little bit of traditional spice from my master instructor that was kind of thrown in there. You obviously know, out there with me on the mats.
Right.
But I think, honestly, when I think of mixed martial arts, I think of a more traditionalized martial arts modernized martial arts. And I feel like it's nice because it doesn't limit you, If I want to learn a little bit of capoeira, if I want to learn a little bit of XMA, if I want to learn a little bit of whatever I want to learn, Boshindo, maybe go into the traditional stuff, I can...
Tang Sudo.
Yeah, Tang Sudo, some Wing Chun.
Oh, man.
Anything like that, you're allowed to learn it in a mixed martial arts style.
Right, yeah.
So,
okay, well, I was doing a little bit of research on different styles of martial arts. Let me just hit you with this list right here. You tell me if you know it, you like it, you want to do more of it, or if you're pretty, as you'd say, fluent in it. Aikido.
Definitely heard of it.
Yeah.
I haven't put too much research into Aikido.
So it's considered a grappling art. Aikido is more of a Japanese martial art performed by kind of like flowing with the motion of the attacker rather than like the opposing. It's straight on. It requires less physical strength, and as a practitioner directs the attacker's momentum with entering and turning the motions, followed by various throws or joint locks. So it's like kind of using more of those joint locks and those tosses, more from a standing position. Okay, next one, Hapkido. What do you think?
I can't say I'm super familiar with that one.
No? I wasn't too familiar with this one either. I mean, I've definitely heard of Aikido and Hapkido, but it's not something that I actually went through and practiced diligently, something that I sought out. It might have just been incorporated in some of the training that I've done. But it's a Korean martial arts. It still uses joint locks, but this time it uses punches and kicks and other striking attacks with it too. Hapkido is one of the ones that starts focusing on weapons, such as like the sword, nunchucks, rope, cane, staff, and a couple other ones too. It's a pretty cool one. Judo.
I have heard of judo, yeah.
Judo. And I think this one we actually use a little bit of, whether it's in our one-step sparring in the black belt classes or just kind of incorporation with some of our jiu-jitsu stuff. I think we use some of the judo. It's a Japanese martial arts, back to that Japanese. It was created in 1882, which is kind of cool because it's a pretty old style. Definitely kind of more of that traditional style. The goal of it is to throw your opponent onto the ground using a takedown, getting them to the ground and immobilizing them, subduing them with some grappling maneuvers. Again, back into those joint locks, that strangleholds or those chokes. Strikes and thrusts by hands, feet, and weapons. Just sounds like a brutal but, like elegant sport. You know what I mean? Like you're just taking them down and you're using more joint locks and stuff like that. And then you get real brutal with it. You got a weapon, you start hitting them.
I know that judo likes to use a lot of the kind of the higher up throws.
Yeah.
So towards the knee and the hip. So I got in a little bit of trouble in some Muay Thai fights because you can't go above the ankle on your trips.
Okay.
So, just being used to wrapping around the knee and wrapping around the hips and doing my throws there, got a little bit of a trouble. Just a touch.
Yeah. Okay, jiu-jitsu. Now, I know that we both practice this one. I feel like I do a little bit more, whereas you have more of the Muay Thai, and I want to talk about, things that we want to get into more of. But jiu-jitsu, how do you feel about it? Do you want to get more into it?
I do want to get a little bit more into the jiu-jitsu style. I'm not a big fan of styles that don't necessarily thrive on being in a standing position. Mm-hmm. I'm a nice light guy. I like to be able to move around a lot. on my feet. So, but jiu-jitsu is really fun, and it's one hell of a workout.
It is. It's a full body workout, and it's like
killer.
I was talking to a parent at the studio the other day, and we were talking about jiu-jitsu and the difference between jiu-jitsu and some of the stand-up stuff is that you can use full strength and still not really hurt people, whereas like striking, let's say Muay Thai, kickboxing, or boxing in general, you have to pull punches. Even when you're doing sparring, you got to pull punches or else you're going to hurt somebody. Where in jiu-jitsu, you don't really have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to hurt anyone. You're just getting that control. Now, of course, if you're definite size definite size difference, you'd want to hold back a little because you want to be laying on top of them. But then you'd be focusing more on technique, and then you don't have to hold back with technique either. You're just not being rude with laying on top of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I absolutely understand that, and it's always kind of that struggle teaching Muay Thai and kickboxing and stuff, and having parents get involved in the sparring is, coming up with the different drills to kind of take their target away from hitting and striking so that they're not injuring each other.
Right.
Even with full protective gear, it still has that level of dangerous, but you don't have that so much in jiu-jitsu where you guys, I agree, you can actually engage that full body muscle, engage that full level of strength and really try to fight for it. Mm-hmm. Whereas that experience is not as prevalent in kickboxing or Muay Thai unless you're okay with the fact that you might get knocked out, you might get KO'd, and you might get hit a little harder than you were hoping to get hit. So I do enjoy that as far as a workout aspect of it.
Right. Granted, submissions can get pretty nasty, especially when they're putting arm bars and chokes in there. I mean, if you're squeezing too tight, that could definitely take someone out. But
anything that involves my shoulder that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
You go for the shoulder, I'm tapping in a couple seconds.
Even in jiu-jitsu, your main point isn't to, kill the other person. It's not, you're not trying to do harm. It's more of a sport where you're just trying to push them to their limit to where they tap, and you're not trying to break anything. I mean, outside of this, and we'll get to that in a second, but people could argue, no, in jiu-jitsu, like, you couldn't use jiu-jitsu to break people's arms or do your tosses or actually hurt people when you're doing your self-protection. That's Krav Maga. That's different. You use the same stuff that you use in jiu-jitsu for Krav Maga, break people's arms. That's where you're actually trying to do that.
Yeah, I think jiu-jitsu is great. If you want self-defense, I would always recommend to tack on something else or go to one of those self-defense jiu-jitsu places. They don't necessarily teach BJJ or Brazilian jiu-jitsu so much as they add in some Muay Thai technique, but you always got to add something into it involving some level of striking, some level of disabling the opponent.
I feel that's where Hapkido and Judo come in,
Absolutely.
That's that definite stuff. Okay, next one, karate. Just basic karate. What is karate? Like
So, this is a big one. I get a lot, working with kids and stuff like that, the whole oh, so you guys do karate, or this is a karate school. Even schools that don't teach karate still teach or say that they teach karate just because it's that recognizable form. But, being in the profession, that karate is a specific style inside the Eastern martial arts style tree and possibilities of things you can have.
Yeah. So on this, it says martial arts is developed in Okinawa, Japan.
Mm-hmm. It is a Japanese style. I didn't know that.
What is Japan? What's up with Japan, man? I want to go to Japan and just start learning some of these. Because I wonder if they teach it differently than we do in the Western. So they stress striking techniques such as punching, kicking, knees, elbows, elbow strikes, and open-handed techniques. And I think that's where the knife hand comes from. And it's in comparison to Taekwondo, where karate tends to focus more on hand strikes, whereas Taekwondo does emphasizing on kicking techniques. The major traditional styles of karate are Shotokan, Shido Ryu, Goju Ryu, and Wado Ryu. Those are the more traditional styles, and I think it's become a little bit less traditional, more modernized, with especially the way that we teach.
Yeah, I think it's in finding true Japanese karate. I think it's definitely fairly difficult to do nowadays. Most studios that you go to, most places that you go to, most instructors that you meet really don't even train in karate, even though their studios are going to say karate. It's just I feel like that's the marketing term. Everyone knows karate. If you're doing, throwing your hands and feet about like some, like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, it doesn't matter what style you're doing karate nowadays. But I understand the marketing. It's much easier for people to understand one word than to understand, okay, this is Krav Maga, this is Boshindo, this is, Taekwondo, this is this.
And noticing what style it is. So preferably, do you like for your karate, do you enjoy how the karate is nowadays? On kind of, just think about stuff that we teach, our forms, focus form, intensity form, and stuff. Do you like how karate is, or do you want to bring it back to more traditional? Would you like to do go and do a seminar and learn more traditional or practice more traditional of the karate?
I know for a fact I definitely love to go practice some more traditional stuff. I want to plan a time where I take a month and just visit Japan and Korea and Thailand and really just hit those Eastern martial arts and stuff. But I like the way karate is now. I love the way martial arts is now, where it keeps a lot of the traditional values. Most studios you go to are going to require your kids to say sirs and ma'ams, right? And whether you're a little more new age or a little more old age, right? I think having that respect to parents is paramount. So a lot of that stuff where they're teaching perseverance, they're teaching self-control, they're teaching the more traditional mental sides of martial arts, I think are really great. But I definitely think modernized martial arts with Krav Maga, BJJ, Muay Thai, things like those that have been more modernized are going to be more effective in a self-defense situation than, going all Jackie Chan on them.
Yeah. Okay, Krav Maga. We talked a little bit about this when we talked about jiu-jitsu, but pretty much a hand-to-hand combat system developed in Israeli, that involves wrestling, grappling, striking techniques, most known for its extreme, efficient, and brutal counterattacks used to keep the practitioner safe from incapitating the opponent by any means necessary. Generally there's no rules in Krav Maga, and it's not a sporting federation. In addition, there's no official uniform, although size organizations recognize progress with some rank badges, levels, and belts. But it's mostly just to defend yourself on the streets. Someone comes up and attacks you, that instinct's gonna kick in from your Krav Maga training, and you're gonna start whooping some butt.
I definitely, as far as Krav Maga goes, I personally think if you're looking to self-defend yourself, Krav Maga is the way to go.
Definitely.
Don't do karate, don't do Muay Thai, don't do anything. Krav Maga is simple, easy, efficient, quick to pick up on. I teach it 4 days a week, to adults and stuff. So I definitely think that Krav Maga is an excellent self-defense. I do think when you enter a Krav Maga studio or take a Krav Maga class, you should really ask yourself questions as you go. If your instructor doesn't listen to you when you ask questions or doesn't try to work with you when you ask questions, then I would go find a new Krav Maga studio. It's kind of that wild west. It's not as regulated. There's no belting systems in it, especially in the United States. So when you find places with belting systems, when you find places with ranking systems, it's generally their own that they made. And a lot of people take it on themselves to come up with techniques and don't think about it. They don't put it through a test. They don't try to work through the technique. So you might be getting some little pseudo Krav Maga where the owner of that school kind of put it together themselves.
I like that you say that they should ask questions, because Krav Maga isn't a surefire thing. Like, it's a situational based on, depending on where, if they have a gun to your head, which way is the gun, where is it facing towards you, which hand do they have it in, a lot of that stuff matters. And putting together techniques, I know that we've worked a lot on just having one or two techniques for multiple defenses is really helpful, because you don't want to have to sit there and think about what technique that you're going to have to use when someone's got a gun to your head. There's not going to be any way. You have to be able to do it instinctually, and to sit there and try to process, okay, they have it in this hand, so I have to turn this way, and I have to, strike here, or then now you're thinking of things that you can't do. Okay, I don't want to push the gun up because I might get shot, or I'm going to be facing it towards someone behind me, a civilian or something like that. So it's really good that they will ask questions, because you got to know if it works. You don't want to be taught something, then when you go to try it, it's like, that was bull crap. Like, it didn't work, and I got shot in the leg, or whatever.
There's not a lot of second tries in Krav Maga.
Exactly,
in the practical field.
Definitely ask questions.
You can't just hop back in the ring after 3 months of recuperating and training. It's not like that. But
it's funny too, because Master G. Sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but Master
absolutely.
G. We were doing a drill, and he would do a technique, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, you have to be skeptical. I'm a big guy. I'm strong. If I try to do it, can he take it away from me? Can he stop me from attacking him?
Absolutely.
And if it works, then boom, like that. Okay, I'm convinced. But you have to put yourself in that situation. You have to believe in the technique, and the only way to do that is really by seeing it and feeling it. And then practicing
absolutely. A ton. I think with Krav Maga, though, the reason it is so effective is, as opposed to a lot of martial arts styles where it's like, if this person has, a two-hand choke on you, you have to do, this trap the arms, turn to the side, break the elbow, swipe the hands off, hit the groin, elbow the face, and they run you through this like 10-move scenario where you just have to get faster and able to do that. Krav Maga is different from most styles like that in that it just is a set of concepts. If they have a gun to you, you're going to use a redirection, you're going to get control of the weapon, you're going to attack them back, and then you're going to do a takeaway.
Right.
And within those different categories, all gun defenses are going to fit into that. And then from there, it branches off. So if the gun's at the head, I have to redirect the target, redirect the weapon, but I'm going to go up on that because the gun's to the head, and it's the shortest point that the barrel will be pointed at me. So, I don't want to go down because that's got to pass through my nose, chin, face. I've got to go all the way down to my groin. That's way more area that can get shot during the self-defense. So you always want to move to the side. But it's a set of concepts that you can then put together.
Yeah.
So it works well in scenarios and fights and plays out differently.
Right.
As you progress, you'll start to see those patterns in Krav, and that's a good way to know if you found that really good Krav studio is when you start going. You'll ask an instructor a question, then you'll be like, oh, you know what? I remember this from this technique, and this fits into this area.
Right. Okay, Kung Fu. Kung Fu, a Chinese martial art. So it's a number of fighting styles that have developed over centuries in China. There's a common theme to the various styles, which are usually classified by family, schools, and sects. Some styles include physical exercises that mimic animal movements. So is this where Mantis came from? Is this where, Eagle Claw? You have your Shaolin monkeys. I said Mantis. Your Wing Chun is based in there too. You even have Hungar, which I know I talked to you about Hungar before. Avatar, The Last Airbender. Hungar is earth. Water is Tai Chi. Fire is northern style. Yeah. And wind is Bagua. I don't see northern style or Bagua in here. Or I guess Shaolin Kung Fu. That might be like the northern style. But we'll even have a link on the page, so you guys can check out these martial arts, different styles of martial arts, and there's even more on here that we could go all day about talking about different styles of martial arts. We're just going diving in there and what is mixed martial arts, what kind of things do we want to practice, and everything in there. This one gets me real excited because this is more of the styles that I want to practice.
Yeah, this I agree with there. I really want to spend time on Kung Fu. I've looked into it a lot. I run a demo team, and Kung Fu just has a lot of snappy, fast movement that really fits well into demos. And when you start looking at those different styles, you can create some pretty interesting forms because there's a lot of movement involved or a lot of definition in it. So it's great for creating those demos, especially if you're trying to get one that still has forms. I know a lot of people kind of just default to breaking 50, 60 boards for 3 minutes and then walk away. But
so it's definitely not a practical style of martial arts.
I feel like with most martial arts, it's practical depending on how many hours you have. That's why I recommend Krav, because most people are going to be training 2-3 hours a week, and that's all the time they have. So Krav Maga is efficient with a lot less hours. If you're in the studio for 9 hours a day, you could probably do those Kung Fu moves so fast that you can defend yourself, but nobody has.
You're telling me
9
right
hours
now,
a day.
If I start practicing praying mantis, I could defend myself with this style. Now, you understand that this different styles have rules and regulations. Like, you may not be able to do regular punches, but I could jab you in the temple real quick with my fingers. You know what I mean? It's like, can I do that before I get punched in the face? Now you're setting yourself limitations. You're handicapping yourself. Or tell me that I can do monkey and kick the crap out of somebody. I want to practice drunken fist, Harris. I want to practice drunken fist.
Well, Vidra, I think you could. Honestly, and when in a fight, it clearly has to do a lot with who's fighting you. I feel like if you're willing to spend those 9-10 hours just consistently practicing nonstop, working out, doing nothing but mantis style, you're probably going to get to that point where you're just real fast with it. You can block a punch. You can block a punch, let out your 37 strikes in a second because you've practiced them so long. But that's for the people that are dedicated. If you're sitting here like, I'm working, I'm going to college, I got 2 hours a week to give, then I was like, anything other than really just Krav Maga, Muay Thai, or BJJ, kind of the more modern MMA styles that you see out there, I don't think anything is going to be as practical.
Yeah. So you don't think I'd be able to beat anybody that learns Krav Maga diligently?
If you walk up to Conor McGregor and go Mantis style,
I poked him in the temple.
I'll give you like $100. But you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get beat up a whole lot there. That's awesome. Okay, so we want to practice it more for the just the art of it. I think it's beautiful. They're beautiful styles.
Yeah, they're really
creative and beautiful styles. Not necessary for kicking the crap out of people. I mean, we go through Krav Maga. We have our kickboxing. And the jiu-jitsu with practications of judo and such in it, and I think that's enough to defend myself. Now I can put more effort into practicing Wing Chun, which I definitely want to do.
Absolutely, yeah. No, Kung Fu, Wing Chun, all of those just seem like really exciting styles as far as the art.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like most styles, in my view, step more into the bounds of practical or more into the bounds of art.
Yeah.
As that martial arts, XMA, not super practical, but you're doing those flips, you're doing those backflips. It's an art style. Yeah. When I see someone doing that on a clip or a video, my first thoughts are just like, that's impressive, you know. It's an art form. Like when I look at a painting or something, I can admire the brush strokes. When I look at a kick combo by Tyler Weaver or any of the XMA or Hyper guys or the
are we gonna make kick combos?
Or whatever.
Are we gonna put together a highlight reel of our kicks?
We could absolutely do that.
I think it'd be short and kind of disappointing, but I think it would be awesome.
Yeah,
who's down for what is it called? A reel?
A highlight reel?
A highlight reel of our tricking.
We'll work on that one there.
Okay, next one. I know this discussion started with the discussion of mixed martial arts and what is it. Mixed martial arts has actually made it to the list. It says it's a full contact sport that allows a variety of fighting styles to be used, pretty much exactly what we were talking about. It's in striking and grappling, either standing or on the ground. It's pretty much versatile. It's everything.
Yeah.
MMA is just whatever you want to do, you do it, and then it's your kind of fighting style. I know we talked about that. Is there anything else that you wanted to shout out for MMA?
I definitely feel like most people fit more into this category than any other.
Definitely.
I even the people that I find that are just like, they go to the ninjutsu schools or they go to the hole in the wall Boshindo school with an 80-year-old teacher.
Those are great, by the way.
They'll still look at YouTube videos, they'll watch UFC fighters, they'll look at the media that's out there for Eastern martial arts for the fighting scene, and they'll start to practice or look at or adore or add into their style some of that stuff that you see. So I feel like most people are going to be sitting right there on that line of mixed martial arts. As to how much mixed martial arts they do and how traditional their style is up to kind of your training in your school, but most people are pulling from 2-3 styles.
Yeah. Okay, so real talk real quick. Real talk. Do you watch YouTube videos or maybe movies that have martial arts in it, see something that you're like, wow, that was cool, and then you start to implement it in your classes on like, hey guys, this is awesome, you should try this. What would you categorize that? Is that the style that they're doing, or is it a mix? I mean, because that stuff is usually staged.
Yeah, so this is actually a unique thing for mixed martial arts schools. When you put yourself into a Wing Chun school and you try to, stick to just a style, you limit your teaching a lot. Being in a mixed martial arts school, teaching in a mixed martial arts school, I do that where I'll be watching a movie or YouTube video and I'll go, oh my goodness, that fight scene was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit there, I'll practice it, I'll learn it, and then I'll take it in and I'll do it as like an activity to get the kids excited.
Let's go, guys. Fun. We're going to choreograph this fight scene here that I saw
especially,
on Hitman.
Yeah, if it's... maybe not that one, but I wouldn't tell them exactly where it's from for that one, but for like the Ninja Turtles movie that came out.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of kids saw it, so... I took a couple scenes, took a couple fight stuff from that, and I actually worked it out as an activity where I was teaching them that. And, no one caught on to it, but after a while, I was like, at the end of it, I was like, just what, you guys? You learned the fight between, this turtle and this bad guy in the movie, and, at that point, they got excited. So I think that whatever style they were using, since it's a movie, most of the times it's XMA style.
Yeah.
They like the flashier kicks and the flashier movements and stuff. Generally, XMA and Wing Chun is what I find most movies are using. But no, it's an excellent way to build excitement in your classes.
Right.
To just do that research and put in.
Not gonna lie, I tried to make a form. Well, I did. I made a short form from Kung Fu Panda. I saw some moves in there, and I was like, hey. Like, that just looks like fun. Like, you just seeing a panda do them, and it's just like, how practical are they? Can I do that? And I tried playing around with it, and I'm like, hey, this kind of is a cool sequence that I'm going in here. Okay, next one. We got about 2 more in here, and then we'll move on to another subject here. Taekwondo. I know we talked about a little about Taekwondo. It's more of the kicks and stuff. It's a pretty cool one. I enjoy Taekwondo. Quite a bit. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely up there just because I love doing the kicking.
I think the kicking's pretty nice. There's one thing, if you meet someone who has a black belt in Taekwondo, you will know that they have a black belt in Taekwondo because they're going to tell you.
So you're saying Taekwondo is one of those people, huh?
Oh, yeah, no, I've met a lot of black belts in my time going out to the Maya conferences and stuff like that, but every time I meet someone, they're like, oh, yeah, and, I train in this or I train in that. I got my black belt. They'll just tell you got the black belt. Taekwondo people will come up, shake your hand, and be like, I got my black belt in Taekwondo.
I'm Taekwondo.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Taekwondo. I got my black belt in Taekwondo.
I named my child Taekwon. Okay, Tai Chi.
And my dog, Do.
This is actually one I want to start teaching. My wife right now, she's pregnant, and I've been wanting to put together a Tai Chi class that we can kind of do in the mornings, just me and her in the living room. And then I'm trying to put together a lesson plan for it so I can start teaching it in the mornings at the studio, maybe bringing in some older students, that want to do this, and, I'll incorporate meditation and everything. I just think Tai Chi it's a very relaxing and amazing style.
Yeah, no, I don't have too much to say about Tai Chi. I use it kind of as I pull from Tai Chi for a little bit of stretching and mobility exercises for my demo team,
Right.
And that's fairly it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have too much to comment on it. It's good if you want to stretch. I don't see too much of a practical fighting reason to learn Tai Chi, but I haven't spent too much time learning it.
I think it's more you get really in tune with your body because you have to move slowly and you have to, like you said, kind of like a stretch through a lot of this stuff, so it could help with people at the age where that's better for them. It's not so much as hard strikes, more as you're being fluent with your body, and it kind of takes away some of that pain and aching as you work with it, as you're strengthening your body.
Yeah.
Next thing I want to talk about, this has been a big thing, legalizing chucks in Arizona, and I think New York.
Yeah. So back when Kung Fu movies were starting to come out, it became a concern that people were going to start using nunchucks and ninja tools and weapons to get involved in gang violence, and you'd see these kind of like martial art gangs popping up. So I know that they put a ban on nunchucks, and they put a ban on, stabs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you weren't really allowed to carry them.
Well, I still don't think you can carry swords and stabs and stuff out in public.
No, and I necessarily, depending on the situation, I think that's all right. Working with my demo team, getting them to take swords and chucks and stuff is always a little dicey as far as setting up those demos, and getting them
lots of looks because you're walking around with weapons. But then again, you're all in the same uniform, so they should put two and two together. That obviously they're going to do a performance of some kind. So I have a quote that I wanted to read off by Representative John Kavanaugh. So regarding the legalizing of chucks, he says the average person can do far more damage using a baseball bat than nunchucks. I totally agree with this. He's a Republican from the Fountain Hills. They're not dangerous to anybody, and we really should let kids and adults who want to do martial arts activities legally possess them. I love that. There's some more quotes in there. We'll put the page or the article up on the website so you guys can take a look at it too. They've got a couple videos in there from McDojo Life, and Brianna Whitney did a news article on it, and it's pretty good stuff.
That's I agree with him. The one thing I would say is nunchucks can do quite a bit of damage if you don't know how to use them, but it's generally more kind of to you or yourself.
Right. That's true.
It's pretty standard to hit yourself in the head with nunchucks as you're first learning. So, but most of the people that have nunchucks, most of the people that default to nunchucks as a weapon, have training. I can't imagine as a criminal I'm gonna go I can get a gun, I can get a
I'm gonna get these nunchucks.
Or I can get the nunchucks,
That would be me. I'd see the nunchucks and be like, oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. At that point, if I'm getting mugged by a guy with nunchucks, I'm probably just going to give him my wallet and just out of sheer curiosity, just trying to figure out what's going on here. Like, man, why... Out of all the weapons, like, you clearly got these from a weapon store. You saw the knives. You saw, like, the Bowie knives. There's probably some guns or something, and you went with the nunchucks.
As a practitioner of nunchucks and being hit with them so many times, just by myself, like, you got two options there. You either test this person and, like, try and see how good they are with the nunchucks and whether or not they can hit you, or they're really good and you get hit a lot with nunchucks. It hurts. I'd rather just not. Or give my own nunchucks out. And if I'm carrying nunchucks around, hey, I might be carrying nunchucks around.
At that point, I'm just going to keep putting nunchucks in my pocket.
Just keep nunchucks in your pocket. That's great. Little pocket-sized nunchucks.
The expandable ones that don't actually work.
Oh, those are amazing. Okay, one more quote. Representative Athena Salmon, Tempe Democrat. So instead of figuring out ways that we can save lives, we're wasting time on nunchucks. I love it.
Nunchucks and putting bans on that, I feel like it's going to work out pretty well. It's just I feel like there's not a lot of research on her side.
Right.
Nunchucks are normally associated with martial arts. Putting a ban on it hinders the martial arts growth, and that then hinders the amount of kids entering into the martial arts system. And having heard from many parents, who interact with my teenagers that are currently wearing belts and working at our studio, the teenagers that they see in the black belt, the teenagers that they see that they have gotten their black belt with us, they always are complimenting them, always talking about how our teenagers or our students are not like other kids. And
so it's a huge positive, yeah.
Yeah, and I think anything that detracts from martial arts detracts from the developments of students. And, nunchucks, when it comes down to it, is a great martial arts marketing tool. Kids want to learn how to use nunchucks. They see them in the movies, they see them in the Ninja Turtles. Everyone knows what nunchucks are. And being able to use them and being able to have them, I think, is important for allowing marketing through those things. When I go out to fairs and have my demo team perform, there are always three things that get them going. First one is board breaks. That's why most demo teams only do board breaks now. Second one is the sword, right? And then after that is nunchucks. Bow staff comes out there, whatever size. Really, no one cares about size. Sorry, anyone who really likes size.
I really like size.
They're an interesting weapon, but kids just I don't get a reaction from anyone when size come out at my demos.
No, they're really difficult, especially with trying to do tricks and stuff. I mean, I learned how to do some pretty cool tricks, I thought, with size, but it just doesn't rack up to what you can do with a bow staff, a sword, nunchucks, man, nunchucks.
Yeah, I think her reason is not good.
Nunchucks.
Yeah. I think we should be allowed to talk about nunchucks. I think we should be allowed to carry nunchucks, and I am all for it.
Why would you take away our nunchucks, man? What did they do to you? Someone got hit by a bad pair of nunchucks, and they're like, you know what? Screw it. We don't need these. You don't need these. It's stupid. And we're just like backlashing. We're like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Give us our nunchucks back, man.
Yeah, that's
we're not hurting anybody except for ourselves.
We just want the nunchucks. I was like, even as a martial artist, most of us aren't going to carry around nunchucks for self-defense purposes. They're inefficient as far as self-defense goes. They work great if you can pop them up, get them up, and start using them. But at that point, just carry a Kubaton, carry a regular baton. I personally have a collie stick in my car for self-defense just because there's no ban on that as far as I know.
What's the stick back here? Okay.
Yeah. No, it's unique what is allowed to be carried and what is not allowed to be carried. It's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So, Today's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there.
Absolutely. Happy Mother's Day. All the mothers out there, all the soon-to-be mothers out there. And kids, go get them something nice. Make them breakfast.
Go get them something nice. So there's a couple more things that I want to talk about, just kind of more of like time-sensitive things that I just wanted to bring up.
Absolutely.
And we can see where it goes with that. So we're going to skip right up to some UFC. I wanted to get back into UFC, how everybody's doing, kind of commentating on it, just letting you guys know where everything's at.
Yeah. I will say, as far as UFC goes, I would like it, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, if the drama didn't exist.
I think the drama is just there to get everybody going, because when they get out there and they fight, they usually show pretty good respect.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, like, you have I forgot who it was, but there were two guys who
Conor McGregor and Mayweather?
They got in a fight at a press conference.
Oh, man, I feel like that happens too much.
Yeah, they put their faces in each other, and they're just, and it's...
Testosterone.
Yeah, when I enter the ring... in my Muay Thai fights, or when my competitors enter the ring, there's a lot of respect, a lot of bowing to the judges. At the end of the fight, you bow to your opponent, you take care of your opponent, and it's a lot of that, and I don't see that so much in the UFC. I love the fights, I love the martial arts. I'm not challenging anyone. Conor McGregor kick my butt pretty easily.
You heard it
there.
here. Mr. Harris thinks he could take on Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Just get training with Mayweather.
Let's play some chess.
Some chess?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love me some chess.
If he's going to get rid of all his MMA stuff,
I'm pretty sure he's good at chess, though.
With just his hands. Oh, is he good at chess?
Yeah, he's good at chess.
I'm pretty good at chess, though. First place in my elementary
He's pretty
chess
wild.
Club, so
okay.
It would not surprise me. I learn more and more stuff about them. Did you know, as a side topic before we start talking about UFC, did you know that Gordon Ramsay has a black belt?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does.
That's awesome. Do you know what in?
I don't know what in. I just heard the fact. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. But I love Gordon Ramsay. I do cooking on the side, but
I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next podcast.
I love
Absolutely.
Gordon Ramsay.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
Funny.
So I think it was about 7 days ago. Rose and Joanna. They have difficult last names, so I'm just gonna say first names. We'll post up a video on the page. I have a video for it. So Joanna comes in. I'm just gonna kind of summarize the fight here. Joanna coming in. She's trying to steal the title, and she just gets outplayed by Rose for 2 rounds. So Rose was the current title holder, and then Joanna was trying to go in for it.
Yeah.
And they had a fight previously that was just a wreck. So Joanna feels confident she's coming in this time, and she was just getting picked on for the first 2 rounds. Rose was staying at her distance. She was landing some really nice hooks. You're really getting Joanna, giving her that black eye. It was starting to close up and everything. And then about mid-fight, some great things happen. Joanna comes back and she slows down Rose. She just kept repeatedly throwing leg kicks at Rose, so it just started to slow her down because Rose was just so fast. Every time she came in, she would scoot off to the side. She'd be constantly moving. She'd be moving backwards out of reach for Joanna, but Rose would still be able to make contact and then get out. She was just playing it so well. Well, after a few rounds, those leg kicks just started to slow down Rose, and it was amazing to see Joanna just get that confidence back and go in for it. Didn't take Rose out though. Rose ends up keeping her title, and she dominated the 5th round. 5th round comes in. They're both showing so much respect, and this was a fight where, before the fight, they were just talking a lot of smack. Joanna was just talking so much smack, and Rose and everybody just stayed super calm about it, and they did a fantastic job. But she came in there 5th round. she went in for a nice takedown to finish the match, like last few seconds, because she was killing it that round. So she knows that I think she knew that she was winning that round. She goes in for a takedown to stop Joanna on getting any more points, taking any more shots in, just kind of securing that round for her.
Yeah.
And I just really liked how both fighters showed a ton of respect while in the ring, you know, and Rose even catches Joanna in the eye with a finger. Like, it gets kind of nasty. I think it was on accident. For sure it was on accident. Joanna was up against the cage. Rose reaches in, but she has her full hand open and just catches Joanna right in the eye. Rose kind of gives her a little breathing room after that, so that was pretty nice.
And that's how you can tell it's an accident there. I've got two things to say. One, those leg kicks, man, as far as Muay Thai goes, it's all about the respect to the opponent.
Yeah.
You don't walk in and just start taking people down or throwing people because you think you're the big cheese, big honcho.
I'm the big cheese.
Yeah, it's a it's a lot of respect, you know. But the leg kicks and the Muay Thai factor of just wearing her down, slowing her down, bringing down to a level where she can manage, that's a incredible fighting tactic right there.
Yeah. So last night, Rose had another title fight against Jessica Andrade, and she won.
Oh, did she?
Last night she won, so she is the current strawweight title holder.
Strawweight?
Strawweight, 115 pounds.
Jeez.
Women's flyweight is Valentina, sorry. Women's bantamweight is Amanda Nunes. Then we have women's featherweight, which is Amanda Nunes as well. The bantamweight was since 2016. Featherweight, Amanda Nunes got the title 2018. And then we're talking men's. So men's flyweight, we have Henry Cejudo. How do you say that? Cejudo. Henry Cejudo.
That would be my best guess.
Yeah. In men's flyweight, we don't actually have anyone in men's bantamweight.
What weight class is that?
That's 135.
I'll get in there.
You'll get in there?
Yeah.
All right.
That's like, I just got to drop like 70 pounds or whatever. That's fine.
Men's featherweight, we have Max Holloway. Lightweight is, man, these names. Khabib. I'm not even trying that last name. We'll send the link. We'll post the link so you guys can see it in here. So
yeah, that's,
you can see how difficult these names are, or you tell me how I did wrong on them, whichever one. Welterweight, Kamaru Usman. Middleweight, Robert Whittaker. Light heavyweight, John Jones, my boy John Jones. I love John Jones. He's a great one. And then heavyweight, Daniel Cormier. So some pretty cool stuff in there. Just a little update on who is currently holding these titles.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll work on some name practice as we go through here.
Mm-hmm.
But
for real, I'll get better at it.
But yeah, I'd really love UFC, and it's good to keep up with. I just wish they could do it without the drama, and I understand most of the time it's not the fighters themselves, and a lot of the times it's the publishers and people just trying to drum up ratings and stuff. But
the fans, man, fans.
It's, martial arts to me, being a Tide, coming up and saying that I do mixed martial arts, you get a lot of people that are like, oh, so like cage, UFC stuff, and I'm like, no, we still focus on a lot of the respect, and I always have to inform that we have those traditional values that seem pretty lost in a lot of the fights that you see nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So, last thing I want to talk about here, if you don't mind,
Absolutely.
Upcoming events. So, I look at Smooth Comp for a lot of the upcoming events. Some of you guys have heard of Smooth Comp. I talk a little bit at the studio, and any of you guys that have come and done tournaments or competitions with me, we've gone to places where you use Smooth Comp to check out the settings and everything. we have a Gracie Barra event happening. So Gracie Barra is going to be hosting its CompNet Spring Cup in the year of 2019, so this year, in the city of Phoenix. They're giving Gracie Barra students, so this is just Gracie Barra students, this isn't open to everybody, from Arizona, the opportunity to compete, learn, and celebrate in a safe, friendly, and yet highly technical environment. I've always liked the Gracies, and I think this would be an awesome event just to go and spectate, really. I mean, can't really participate in it. We're not part of Gracie Barra. Maybe one day we can be, but it's a cool event for them that's going to be going on. And I'll post the link for that as well. That's going to be going on May 18th. So if you want to check that out, it's a Saturday. Okay, the next one that I have, next event, and I've told some of my students about this. This is the one that I want some of you guys to go in and check out this tournament. Either spectate or compete in it. I think it's going to be a great one. It's the AZBJJF 2019 AZ State Jiu-Jitsu Competition. Okay? This is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition that will offer kids, juveniles, adults, male and female, and masters division in the gi for all belt levels. Okay, so this is just a gi event. Okay? Check out this link, guys, because it has the rules on there. It has the fees. It has registration, times, location. It's got everything you need on there. And spectator fee is only like $10. Children under 12 is free, so easy. We pay attention to parents. Children's registrations do not include the spectator fee. Okay? This is payable at the door by cash or by card. I think this is going to be a great event to go to get some practice under. I know our team, my jiu-jitsu team, is going to be going out there on the next Naga tournament in August, I believe. Mm-hmm. Or it might be September. I think it's August 24th. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're getting ready to do that one. What do you think on tournaments? Do you have any tournaments coming up for Muay Thai?
We do have some tournaments coming up for Muay Thai. In July 6th, there's an Independence Day Invitational. Mm-hmm. It's going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. It is the U.S. Muay Thai Open. So the USMTO. Mm-hmm. We've done a couple tournaments. I've taken a couple fighters. I'll actually be there with one of my fighters.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a great fight. Should be a lot of great fights. So it's fairly cheap to get into it. I would definitely recommend, if you have Muay Thai experience, check out that event and then make your purchases now for it. If you don't have any Muay Thai experiences, going in and just experiencing the fight and watching it and getting to observe is always a extremely fun opportunity.
Right.
And to see the high class fights and stuff like that go on at those events they're really, really impressive.
Right.
So definitely make sure, if you're interested in Muay Thai at all, again, July 6th, that's going to be the U.S. Muay Thai Open Independence Day Invitational. And it's going to be
what do you think? Are you going to go? Are you guys competing? Or I know you said you're having a couple kids competing, or a couple students competing. Are you going to compete, or are you just going to go spectate, be the coach?
I'm going to be spectating and coaching for this. I try not to compete at events that my students are competing at, because then if there's a conflict, then I can't be in their corner.
You want to be there for them.
So absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that is the only tournaments coming up so far in Arizona. There's probably more Muay Thai events going on outside Arizona, but I don't.
We'll check in more into it.
Yeah, I'll look into it more for those of you guys who aren't in Arizona.
Well, this has been the first day for the Punch Pass podcast. Harris, do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
I would like to just let you guys know we will have a email set up at punchpasspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or want to interact with the podcast at all, go ahead and just shoot us an email. We'll We'll read it. We'll talk about it on air.
Right. We also have a Facebook page, Punch Pass Podcast. I'll start sending some invites to some of you guys. I talked to some of you guys that wanted to hear about it, see about it. So we'll send you guys some invites on it, and then also check out our YouTube.
Yeah, check out our YouTube, and don't forget to also check out our webpage, www.punchpasspodcast.com. You will find all the episodes, plus we'll try to keep or give you access to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as those go live. So definitely
awesome. Well, for you guys out there, let us know in the comments or throw us a post or something. What do you guys want us to talk about? Are there any things that you think that are going to be more interesting? What do you think about the first day? I know that we stutter a lot, and we're trying to get a lot better at, doing our conversating and knowing what to say. We're just gonna have a lot of fun with this, and your guys' feedback is gonna be super helpful for us because we want to know what you guys like, what we should change, what we should do differently.
Absolutely.
So let us know.
We appreciate anything to help us get started, so we can bring this podcast to people and hopefully bring martial arts to more ears and help develop the community. So
right,
absolutely. All right, this was Mr. Harris and Mr. Vidra with the Punch Pass Podcast. You
Bam!
guys have a great day and keep it rocking.
Keep it rocking.